We're 3 months into Q1, it's March, it's almost done. It's quick how fast this year's already been, right? But how's those goals? How's those dreams? How are those bad habits that you said you wanted to break from 2024? How have those been going? Trust me, you haven't started yet? You slipped? It's okay, there's no judgment here. We listen and we don't judge. But let me give you some actionable tips to help get you back on track and end this year strong. Because what they say, it's not how you start, but how you finish. Q1 is almost here now, and I say that with a sense of urgency because I know what it feels like to be in a rut. Because when you're in a rut, it feels like, either I'm doing something wrong or I'm not doing something enough. And that's a worse place to be in because you're in this little middle ground, you're in this little purgatory area where you just really don't know where to go. And trust me, it's not a motivation thing, it's a discipline thing. Because this year for me, I had to really make a bold proclamation and say that I'm him. And I know that's a term going around on social media, but I had to really look at myself because I felt like for far too long, I was downplaying me to appease everybody else, to make everybody else feel good. I was dimming my light to make sure everybody else shined. Sound familiar? You've done that too? Trust me, you're not the only one. At some point, you have to allow yourself to shine. At some point, you have to believe in yourself. And at some point, you have to continuously keep growing when all else feels lost. For me, motivation was something it was like a roller coaster. Some days I had it, some days I didn't. Every day I was always watching some kind of YouTube video, some kind of raging song to get myself going. But you already know when you're at the highest highs, then you have the lows. Those moments at the lowest felt like, man, what am I doing it for? I had to understand that there's a couple different things that are gonna get me going. I was speaking to a group of kids one day and it really hit me like a brick. I used to ask these kids, what do you wanna do when you grow up? And you ask that question to any kid and they're gonna tell you something astronomical. They said they're going to be a doctor, they want to be a lawyer, they want to be an engineer. Sounds like an African household. But in the end of the day, they always had big dreams that they wanted to do. But I had to sit down and ask myself, what did I want to do when I grow up? I'm 28 now, as of recording this video. And sometimes I feel like my greatest accomplishments have been behind me. For those of you know, I played in the NFL. I got to the mountaintop of sports, especially in football. I got to see what the greatest looked like. Play alongside with some of the greatest athletes like Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, Tom Brady. I got to share the field with them. And it sometimes feels like a distant memory now that I'm 4 years removed from playing professionally. But this year I had to make a whole mental shift to truly start believing in myself. That mental shift that got me from being an African kid with no business playing professionally to make it to the highest pinnacle of sports. I'm gonna give you some strategies and tips to become the person that you actually set out to be to finish this year off. This might be the simplest thing that you can start doing on this journey. Writing down what you want. And I say that because for a lot of people, they don't know what they want. Taking the intention to sit down, really isolate yourself and understand what do I want and put it on paper. And be very specific. I'm not talking about in general terms. I'm not just talking about, hey, I want to make money. I'm talking about be specific to the minute detail. What do you want out of life? What do you want out of your relationships? What do you want out of your health? What do you want out of your finances? What do you want out of just the little things of getting up every single day? Those are what I'm talking about. Like, don't be politically correct with this. I want you to be raw and honest with yourself. It's gonna be a hard conversation because most of the time we don't like to sit with ourselves, but I want you to write what you want out of everything and make it work for you. Make it to the point where sometimes it even scares you because it's taking you out of your comfort zone, but I want you to dream. I don't want you to just go and be average. We're gonna talk about is patterns. What do you do every day? Begin to write down every single thing from your activities to your leisurely to your habits, and you'll start to see a lot about your life. You'll start seeing how you react to certain things, how you feel in certain situations, and it really affects a lot of how you perceive every single day in your life, especially when you're stressed. How do you react in that situation? And for a lot of us, when we're stressed, when we're feeling some kind of anxiety or any kind of issue in our life, our body naturally goes to a place of comfort. What is that place of comfort for you? Alcohol? Is it weed? Is it drugs? Is it pleasure? It might not even be something as big as those, because sometimes for a lot of us, that might be the majority of it. Is it social media? Doom scrolling to distract yourself from what you actually have to do right then and there? Is it cleaning? And as productive as cleaning can be, sometimes we use it as a coping mechanism instead of addressing the real overarching issue in our lives. Or is it Netflix? After binging shows and finally numbing your mind with TV, how do you still feel after that? Because in all reality, the issue is still there. And for most of us, it isn't the sense that we're not productive enough, it's the fact that we sometimes exhaust ourselves with things that aren't as important. Because you already know what they say, whether you're doing is either pleasure seeking or goal achieving. And for a lot of us, that scale is very much tilted. What that you physically see, how you spend your time, will be a gut punch. Because then you'll notice that your life is an ever evolving door. And at some point, you get to make the decision when to shut it. And last but not least, I want you to learn how to separate the journey from the outcome. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what you get out of anything what you do, I'm not guaranteed to succeed. You're not guaranteed anything in life. But it's who you become in the process of the journey is more important than what you actually get. The hard work, the good habits, the resolve, the way you look at yourself, the self-confidence is more important than the actual thing that you receive. That's just the ice cream on top. Trust me. When you're in it every single day, when you choose to do the hard, when you lean into the uncomfortable, when you let go of pleasure, and you let go of comfort, when you let go of the things that you're so familiar with and allow yourself to have new experiences, something changes in your mentality and mental makeup. And it gets to the point where you're almost unrecognizable. The best compliment somebody can ever tell you is, dang, you look different, or you act different. Because in the moment you might not see because you're with yourself every single day. But when somebody else sees the growth within you, it's going to be very noticeable. You're going to finally feel proud of yourself. Those moments where you never felt like anything else was going to change. The constant cyclicalness of life, you felt like life was about to get you, but you stuck to it. You chose to do hard every day. You chose the uncomfortable road. When usually you would go left, you finally went right. How do you feel now? Or how are you going to feel in the future when you finally start? I know you're struggling with whatever you're going through, whether it's in your health, in your finances, or just in everyday life, just feeling that you're enough. Trust me, you are the only one. There's gonna be moments in time where it feels like life feels unbearable, and I don't want you to give up. You've tried over and over and over again and you fail. If you ever fall down, fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. I know that sounds super cheesy, super corny, but at the end of the day, it's real. Every single day, you get an opportunity to change life by just taking one step, one decision, one thought, one anything. You don't have to be grandiose. It could be as simple as going for a walk. It could be simple as deleting the app. It could be simple as letting go of that thing or situation that has put you in a constant chokehold. But you have to just make the decision today. And when you make a decision, you don't turn back. Even when the familiar comes around and you see the pattern of how you used to react to certain situations, this is where you apply everything that you've learned. This is where you sweat a little bit, and I'm telling you, you're gonna sweat. May not be physically, but internally. It's gonna be uncomfortable, it's gonna stretch you, it's gonna push you. But you're not bound to your situation. You're not bound to the same habits that has kept you in a chokehold for so long. You get to finally live. You get to finally be who you've ever wanted to be and make the young you proud. 2025 is Q1, we're almost done. That's okay. If tomorrow is the first day you start, look to that as your new year. But just make the decision and let's keep doing this together. If this video has helped you or anybody you've known, please like, share, subscribe.